The French philosopher Voltaire once asked his followers this question: what of all things is longest and shortest, slowest and fastest? With it, all is possible. Without it, nothing. Let me ask you that question again. What of all things is longest and shortest, slowest and fastest? With it, all is possible. Without it, nothing. Well, the answer, of course, is time. But time isn't long, and it isn't short. It isn't slow, and it isn't fast. When does time seem long? It does, doesn't it, sometimes? When we're bored, when there's nothing, quote unquote, as a teenager would say, when there's nothing to do. And when is time fast? Well, when we're into something that turns us on, into something that makes us excited, into something that gives us meaning and purpose. And the last part of Voltaire's question wasn't a question at all. Really, it was a statement. And what he said was, with it, all is possible. Without it, nothing. And that's true, isn't it? Time is an ingredient, a necessary ingredient in all accomplishment. Imagine this with me for a moment. Imagine that some great benefactor were to credit your account with $1,440. And every day of your life, this person would credit to your account $1,440. And if such good fortune were yours, I'll bet you'd try to get down to the bank most days of your life and draw that money out. And after you've drawn that money out, you wouldn't burn it to get a kick out of watching a crinkle curl in smoke. You wouldn't dig a hole in the backyard to bury it. You wouldn't throw it down the gutter to make a game out of chasing it. You'd take some of that money and you'd buy for yourself some of the things you've wanted for a while and haven't been able to afford. And I wonder, are there still a few things you wanted for a while and haven't been able to afford? If you're like me, the answer is yes. You might use some of that money charitably. Well, I have good news for you. Exciting news for you. And the good news is this: every day of your life, you have such an account, and every day of your life, you are credited once again with 1,440 precious, priceless minutes. Fresh, priceless minutes. And the same basic rules regulate the account. And what were those rules once again? Number one, you're the only one permitted to draw on your account. If your friend, a good friend of yours, came to you begging, saying, please give me some of your time, you can extend their day and shorten yours. You can work with them, but you can't extend their day and shorten yours. And the second rule, you're the only one who can draw on it. You can't authorize a friend, relative, or neighbor to go down and draw on your account. You personally have to go draw it out each day. It's only yours to draw out. And of course, what is the most common excuse given for a lack of accomplishment or a lack of achievement? Most of us have used this excuse many times. And what is the excuse? I didn't have enough time. I don't have enough time. Well, the truth is, there always seems to be enough time to do the things we really want to do. So, I wonder if you can imagine with me for a moment waking up in the morning and, like a kaleidoscope, imagining for a moment as you're coming to consciousness all the things that need to be done by you. And as you imagine these, you think to yourself, not enough time. Have you ever had that experience? I'm betting you have. Well, so how do we make those choices? How do we decide what to do and what to leave undone? Please ponder that question with me. And as you think more about it, if you'd like to go along, send me your answer to that question. If your answer is the answer that I've given in this book, Making Moments Matter, and I've asked that question of thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands well over hundreds of thousands of people. And I find most of the time we don't get the answer, at least the answer that I believe is the correct answer, the answer that's in this book. We'll be very happy, as I've already said, to give you a copy of this book. Only stipulation is only one book per company. And in wrapping up these thoughts on time use and time management today, I'd like to read you a poem in the very last page of this book. It's called Who I Am Becoming. What I'm doing matters, but not as much as who I am becoming. May I do with excellence. What I'm achieving is important, but not as important as who I'm becoming. May my accomplishments have real significance. What I'm acquiring is important, but not as important as who I am becoming. May I give freely. What I'm saying matters, but not as much as who I am becoming. May I speak with integrity. What I'm learning matters, but not as much as who I am becoming. May my search always take me inward. Who I associate with matters, but not as much as who I am becoming. May my search choose my relationships thoughtfully. And what I do with my time matters, but not as much as who I am becoming. May I make my moments matter.